Hi, I'm Sandy. My pronouns are she, her. I am here representing for Mammies for Trans Rights today. We have just come into the park. We're very hot and sweaty and tired and full of emotional because the streets were full of joy for our trans kids. So our group is about stepping out for standing up for our kids because the political landscape is heinous. And we, our two co-founders, neither of whom are here today unfortunately, Claire and Karen, they decided that they needed to do something, and so we all formed, and year on year, month on month, there's more and more of us coming together across Ireland in all of the Pride marches and protests this summer. We're nearly in every one of them, so we're going around spreading love, spreading the joy of being parents who can love and stand up for our kids.
And do your members have trans kids?
Some do, some don't. So some are allies, some people don't have children at all. So to be at Mammies for Trans Rights and participate in this group is about loving all of our kids and giving all of our children, wherever you're from and whatever you look like and whatever your gender and your identity and sexuality is, that is all of our kids. So you don't actually have to be a parent at all to be participating, and we have loads of people who aren't. So we've got the baddies, we've got the mums, the uncles, the grands, the dads, the nibblings, the siblings, all of these people.
And can I ask you, what do you think of the puberty blocker trial over in the UK at the minute? There's a lot of pushback against it.
I think it's a really difficult conversation. I think they give puberty blockers to kids who are having early puberty anyway. I don't know why it's different when it's a trans person.
Yeah.
And that's where I think if this is a mechanism that's going to keep a kid alive rather than not, as an intervention. You know, why not? Why wouldn't we do that when we do that to another 8-year-old who's having early puberty, which is where that medication comes from, right?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't that be different?
I think it is quite different. Like if in the CASC report it says that puberty blockers are likely to cause things like osteoporosis within young children and stunts.
The CASC report has been debunked by many scientists at this point. So I don't think it's something that we need in Ireland to bring in and stand over. I think we need to do Irish research for our Irish community and for all of our people who live here. I think there is a fair amount of research available and people doing research in this country that we can look to the best models of healthcare. So for instance, I know people who are going to Iceland to look at their model of healthcare just because they're our neighbouring country who have a model of healthcare that is failing significantly the trans community. I don't think that's the place to look, and I don't think we need to import that here, to be honest. You know?
Well, prior to the CASC report, there was countries like Sweden stopped prescribing puberty blockers to children because they seen it was doing a lot of damage.
Sure.
What do you make of that?
Sure. I mean, I'm not a scientist or a medical person, I'm a parent, and like my job as a parent is to advocate for my child's safety and life, and if puberty blockers might lead to osteoporosis down the line versus a dead child really soon, I know where I'm going to go.
There's also another study that shows that after someone transitions, the suicide rate actually goes up. So the argument that, you know, a dead child or a trans child doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Well, there's significant studies that would say, like the Trevor Project will say that one adult in a trans life who stands beside them significantly reduces the suicide likelihood. So I mean, I guess, again, I'm not a scientist, I'm a parent. So what I know about science is that we can probably take science to show whatever we want to if we want to be biased to something. And I mean, it's to each parent's prerogative, right, of how they decide, how they bring their kid in, how they talk with their kid, how they engage in informed consent and advocating for their child, with their child, of their child. And I mean, that's a really individual, it's each parent for what their priorities are and how they live in their lives and their families. I wouldn't say that it is an overarching, this is what must be done or not be done, but we need some healthcare in this country for our trans kids because currently we have none. You know, you're looking at extensive wait lists to the point that they're like non-available, right?
Well, wouldn't a good argument for that be because it's become such a social trend, like onset rapid gender dysphoria becoming...
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. No.
Even though the numbers for trans children has skyrocketed in recent years?
No.
So why do you think the numbers have grown so significantly?
I would say probably things like more language available, more education, You know, in the 80s, there was, I don't know how many people in this field were queer and didn't have the language for it. And maybe it's like not too different to that, you know? And maybe there's a safety mechanism of people understanding that I can come out, or I didn't come out because I didn't have the safety, I didn't have the household, there wasn't the space for me, or I didn't have the words.
But children as young as 8 and 10, they don't really have the capability to understand that language in the first place, so people understand them now.
I think they do. I think they do know things. I think people are really disparaging sometimes of children. And like, I mean, if we're running around and we've got like people giving baby grows to a little boy being like, I'm whatever, and then on a little girl, their little thing is I'm so cute and kiss me and all this. Yeah. I mean, it's the same, but in a different, it's dressed up differently, right?
Yeah,
you know?
Well, I suppose so, but like if I had a son who was like 2 years old and I put him in pink saying I'm a girl, whatever, it wouldn't actually be a girl though.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
No? Oh.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that we emblazon and we live our lives surrounded in a heteronormative patriarchy, and so those social norms are projected onto children without the children having any consent to that anyway. And so how is that okay? But a child who has the language to say, this is how I'm feeling today, this is how I'm feeling tomorrow, why don't they have the language? I mean, if our job as parents is to lead and inform and educate and listen to our kids, if they're going to tell us something, certainly to my mind, from my job as a parent in my house, this is the only place that it matters to me. It's my job in my house to listen to my child, and it's another parent's job in their house to listen to their child. And as I say to my kid, our rules are our rules. Their rules are their rules. Just because they do something doesn't mean that we're going to do it or you're going to be allowed what your friends are doing, right?
Yeah, that's fair enough, but would you let a child get a tattoo?
Well, no child is allowed to get a tattoo until they're 16 or 18. So they need consent already. That's already looked after.
Why is that? Is that because it's a lifelong decision?
Well, it's probably health and safety. There's consent. There's informed consent there. You know, we're not talking, I mean, I know you're going to try and hone in on the puberty blockers piece, right? Social transition is the first part of this, right? Do you know what that is, social transition?
I do. The CAS review also found that socially transitioned child, in most cases, would lead to that child going on puberty blockers or hormones later in life.
Some kids, yeah. Not all kids.
It found that the majority of kids that were socially transitioned.
I mean, maybe that's right for them, right? And like that, it's a slow, gentle process. Like a kid doesn't come in at 8 and go, I want to go on puberty blockers. A kid might come in at 8 and go...
Exactly, they'd be led down that path by an adult.
No, they're not led down any path by any adult. An adult might listen to them and say, ooh, let's think about this. What feels right? What isn't right? How does that look for you? Now, I'm going to have to go because we're up on stage now.
Right,
so
well,
thank you very much for your time. Cheers, thanks very much.
Cheers.
Yeah, take it easy.